So welcome to the Earthly EDC channel. My name is Phil, and on this channel we talk about making small, compact, highly efficient EDC kits like this one using mini tools. This is built on a pocket rack design. It's a small plastic card, looks like this one, and you just take elastics and you connect your EDC tools to it. So I've got a little player of Knipex pliers here. I've got a bit driver in here. I've got some cables, a number of things. Sort of the universal thing that everybody carries to some degree in one of these mini kits is a flashlight. And I get inquiries from flashlight companies all the time about wanting me to review their flashlights. And I kind of limit it to these little tiny, small, compact ones, different sizes. Here's a little mini tactical flashlight from Sofirn. But as they get smaller and smaller and brighter, they put out a lot more heat. So that's what we're going to get into today. I actually got a hold of a thermal camera. We're going to do 6 flashlights that are small and compact that I think are unique and might make an ideal addition to any type of EDC kit. And the images were quite startling. I hope you'll stick around. This is a pretty interesting video for me to do, and I think you're going to like it. See you in a bit. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to show you the thermal camera we're going to be using for this video. Let me focus it in here real quick. So this is the P2 Pro from Thermal Master Technologies, and they had reached out to me. I record all of the temperatures I've been doing for the past couple of years for all of these little flashlight reviews that I do, and they thought this might be a nice thing to use instead. And I agree with you. The pictures are amazing, and watching the videos of how things heat up is just fantastic. Anyway, this thing plugs into an iOS device in the base like that. So this is the bottom of the iPhone. And you can also get one of these for Android as well. So they're compatible with both. I'm going to do a complete video on these things later on. I just thought you'd like to see what we're using for this video. So let's get to it. All right, the first flashlight up is the Fenix EO6R, and this was actually recommended by one of our viewers. It's a very high quality little flashlight. It goes up to 700 lumens or a minimum of 5 lumens output. There's 4 different phases for the lights on this. It's a dual head flashlight, and then it also has a laser up there. You can take a look here. I'll try to fire that up for you. You can see the laser. And then we also have a UV light, and yeah, you can see here. So, and each time you press either of the buttons, it'll override the other light. So you can go from laser to UV, and it'll just keep on turning it off and then you hold the button down, and it turns off the UV or the laser. And then the front is the main power light, is the main power switch. You can press it once, and it'll activate the beam. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 different phases here for the beam. It gets up to 700 lumens, or as I mentioned before, down to 5 lumens. So it's got a pretty nice range there to play with. It uses a lithium polymer battery on the inside, and it's built in. You cannot access the battery. And it's a USB-C charging cable in here. It does charge pretty quickly. I was pretty impressed with that. And I think it's 750 milliamp hours, which is decent for a flashlight of this size. So yeah, very nice little flashlight. The other thing I'm going to show you too now is the beam pattern for this light. So at full power, what you're seeing in the illustration now in front of you is at 10 feet away from the target, and the beam pattern is about 48 inches wide, which is pretty decent. Some of these flashlights you'll be seeing in their beam patterns are quite wide, and what happens is it dissipates the light over a wider area. This one is fairly concentrated to 48 inches, which is good. We have some that actually get up quite a bit tighter than that. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Also, I'm going to show you now with the thermal how this thing migrates heat away from the light at the top. And since this is a sealed light, it seems to be acting as a heat sink really nicely. So I was kind of surprised at that. It gets up to 43 degrees Celsius, which is 109.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's not too bad. In most cases, you would not let a light just sit there on continuously and let it build up that kind of heat, because when you touch the flashlight, you're actually dissipating the heat as well. It's being absorbed by your body. So getting it up to that high would be a rarity, because most of the time you're holding the flashlight. but it's very interesting how the heat is dissipated on this flashlight. Okay, so the next flashlight is in this pouch. This is a mini pouch. It's a mini shotgun pouch that's been converted into an EDC pouch. So I took out all the straps on the inside, and then I inserted a pocket rack. So the pocket rack is just, it's an organizer sitting inside the pouch. And on this pocket rack, I have a Sofirn SR12. So this is the largest flashlight that I have in this collection of flashlights that I'm showing you today. This is a tactical flashlight. It's designed for tactical purposes, which is to kind of confuse people if you're being attacked or something, or you're going into a tight situation or something like that. As an extremely bright head on this flashlight, the light coming out this thing is 1,450 lumens, and it's concentrated into a very, very, very tight beam. The thing I like about it too is at this size, this is again the largest size of flashlight that I have in this collection. It fits perfectly onto one of these pocket racks. So these are about 112 millimeters in length, and that's exactly what this is as well. Plus you have the added advantages of having just this massive amount of light, capable to come out of this thing. So it just pull it right out, and it has an 18650 battery in it, putting out 300 milliamp hours, which is pretty nice. At 1450, it's going to maintain that 1450 power outage for about a minute and a half before it drops back down to 720. It'll maintain the 720 then after that for about an hour and a half. So it gives you, a minute and a half at 1450, and then you drops down to 720. Now, if you use the strobe on this, okay, strobe warning here, I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3. If you use the strobe, it's putting out 1450 right now continuously in that strobe mode. It'll continue at 1450 in strobe mode, which is great if you're trying to confuse people, something as bad is happening to you and you want to use this basically as a defensive tool. This is fantastic. This is super lightweight. You're going to want to carry it with you. It's a comfortable little flashlight to have. I'm just amazed at it. It's got a nice little, again, magnetic tail on it. This main switch is up here. 7 different modes of light. It goes from 1 lumen all the way up to the 1450, and then drops back down to 720. And then it has the varying degrees of power between. It's got a double-ended clip on here, so you could hook it onto your cap if you want to, like this. You could put it in your Levi's if you want. Just drop it into a deep pocket. It's a nice little flashlight. Now, here's something else really amazing about this flashlight. Like that wasn't enough. It also puts out a very, very tight beam. So in the illustration I'm showing you again, I'm shining it at the board, and it's got 2 types of beams. It's a very tight internal beam of about 12 inches, and then a larger outer beam circle of light at about 36. It has the highest concentration of any of the flashlights, the light in the center beam of any of these flashlights, of any of the 7 flashlights I'm showing you. So it's really blinding when this thing is going off. And the amount of power and the concentrated light in one location is really amazing. Now the thermal signature on this is what's next up here. The thermal signature is pretty cool as well. So when I hit this in the beginning, and I'm on turbo, because that's when I'm starting all of these lights out on their highest output when I'm using the thermal camera on them, you'll see that the heat will start to migrate down from the top, and it's going to stop almost right about here. So this heats up to 47 degrees Celsius, which is about 116 degrees. And then the lower section down here where the handle is does not get as hot. It maintains at a lower temperature. So for that first minute and a half, you're getting the max output of 1450, then it drops to 720. The temperature starts to just maintain then around 47 was the peak, and then it starts dropping down a little bit. So you probably get around 45. It stays up there. But it's pretty amazing how well it works. It's very cool little flashlight. Yeah, on we go. Okay, next one up, another one that's in the pouch. So this is another larger of the mini flashlights, as I would call them. This is the Wuben X2 Pro. This is a really unique design for this. I really enjoy what Wuben did with this. So as you can see, it's another pocket rack. I've got the pocket rack on here, and there's the Wuben X2. and has a little jogging wheel, I guess what they call these things. So you can actually change the output of the light here. I have it on right now, and you can adjust the beam intensity. So it allows it to be a wide dispersion beam or a very tight beam by just rotating this little wheel. Let me shut this down. So let me show you an example. This white one's a little bit better. I just wanted to show that this was, it hooks onto here very easily. It's perfectly on the rack. It's very nicely done. So here we go. This one has a tail switch option if you want. So both of these lights will both take this tail switch if you want to. It's an option that Wuben makes available, and you can see it pops right off. This is the tail switch. Let me see if I can focus that for you. And all you do is you pop up the back like that, take the tail switch, and you just slide it over the little rungs here, push it down, and there you go. You have the tail switch now if you want to go for this kind of a setup. So yeah, it works very nicely. You don't want it on here, it's really easy. Just press a little button here, and it'll pop up, slide it off, push this back down, and it's raring to go. Turn it off. Ta-da! So this uses two 14500 batteries, lithium ion, or you can use two AA batteries in here. With the 14500 batteries, you're going to get in turbo mode, you're going to get 1500 lumens out of this thing for 1 minute, and then it drops down to 500 lumens when you're in turbo. If you're just using it in the high level for the headlight on this thing, it's going to be 400 lumens initially, and then you can adjust it down to 5 lumens if you want to. At 1500 lumens, you got 1 minute again, and when it drops down to 500, you're going to get about an hour and a half, and that's in that turbo mode. And then again, you have complete control of adjusting the beam here. So I'm going to set this little slide switch here. This one goes for the head up here in the middle mode where it is right now. It feeds this light here, this side light. And the bottom, you're locked. It's locked off. So we're going to flip it all the way up. Hit the button once. We're now in the initial mode. If I want to take it up to turbo, I just hit it twice, 1, 2, and it goes right up to turbo very quickly. See how bright that is? It's amazing. Feel the heat on that is pretty intense. So it's quite remarkable. And then you can, I'm sorry, let me show you really quickly. So you can change the intensity of the beam by just rolling the little roller on the side here, the little wheel. And it'll just change the intensity from concentrated beam to a wide dispersed beam. Now, if I flick it back to the medium, we're going to look at this headlight here and see what that does. So now I'm going to take the wheel, I'm going to hit it twice, actually just once. Oops, I'm in the wrong mode. Let's get out of that. Once. There's the front light. If I hold it down, it takes me to a various color mode. So I can scroll through if I want to, using the little jogging wheel here. All these different colors that you can do. Now, if you want it to go to a blinking one, you can go 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, Phil. There we go. And you're in a blinking mode. So you can go through all of the various selections of flashers that you want to do. And then you can also, let me get over to the white light mode here. Flip it back. Up. And hold it down. And there's the white light mode. And then you can push your way all the way up. It goes up to 400 output on this thing, which is pretty intense, or you can scroll it back down to 5 lumens if you want, which is very nice. So a lot of options here. Now, the side light is also adjustable. You can see you can turn it up and down like this. You have to push it in just slightly. I think it's spring-loaded. And then it's great, too, if you had it on next to a keyboard or something and you're working and you want it, just enough light to be able to see the keyboard. It'll allow you to do that by just adjusting this light back and forth. It's a really neat little tool. I like it. It runs about 3.6 inches or 91.3 millimeters in length. Has a width of about 35 millimeters, and it works very nicely. Now, the structure of this is really interesting. So when I turn this thing on, it gives me the ability then to adjust the beam, as I mentioned before. So you're going to see in the chart that I've showed you in the previous videos, this thing has a dispersion. It's a concentrated area in the center, but it's not as defined as the other ones were. So you're going to see it's a wider beam, but it's very bright. It between 12 and 36 inch 12 inches and 36 inches in width, and it's concentrated in the center area, very heavily center weighted, but it's a very strong, nice beam. Now, when we get into the thermal camera view of this, it's really interesting what happens. So you see this top area? This whole area here takes all the heat from the lamp on here, these 4 bulbs that we have on the top here, and just transmits it through this area like this. This becomes a little black spot here. It's pretty interesting. So take a look at the thermal view. You're going to find that pretty interesting. This doesn't heat up at the bottom. This only stays the whole thing when it's at full power, fully heated up. After it's gone through turbo and then dropped down to the high level, it only gets up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius. So it's totally very nicely engineered as far as the thermal activity goes. Very nice little, pop open on the bottom. Let me pop this up for you. See, it's fully spring-loaded at the bottom. Locks very nicely. Again, you have the option to put the little tail switch on here if you want to. But very nice little compact design. Again, and it fits, it comes in black, and I've got the white version here. But it fits perfectly on the rack, which is really nice. And you can just drop it in. You don't even need the straps on this thing if you want to. Like, it's strapped on one side like that. If you put it in here like this, and you just didn't have the straps, that thing would just sit right there. You could reach in for your flashlight anytime you wanted to and have access to all the other tools as well. Okay, so the next one, this one is really super interesting. So this is the Workos TS10 SG, this little tiny one here. It's one of the smaller, it is probably the smallest flashlight featured in this video. As you see, I've got it loaded onto a fully loaded pocket rack. This is a pocket rack with what's called center anchors, so you can actually anchor it toward the center if you want to. But the Wurkkos fits perfectly on here, and you can just pop this thing out, just push it through, pull it out, and you're ready to go. It leaves a little slot in your rack. It'll easily fit into a little mini pouch as well. Now, this beast is intense. It puts out, they claim 1,650 lumens, which is, I think, the highest of any of these flashlights. Yeah, I think it is by far. I'm not quite sure I agree with the length of time they say it'll run at they say it'll go for an hour and a half at that level with that little tiny 14500 battery. I don't think that's the case. I'm not going to bother testing it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I will say that when you're dealing with a flashlight of this strength in this small of a profile, aluminum, this doesn't have a charging port on it. It's just a battery inside with their electronics and the LED. This thing gets hot. This thing gets very hot. I tested it in my test. It was up to 58.3 degrees Celsius, which is 136.94 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty hot. If you touch the head on this thing, you might feel a burn. I think it would be uncomfortable if nothing else. But it's a pretty warm flashlight. And it's got a single LED in there with a lens all hooked up there. And the lens keeps the intensity fairly, centered. But okay, I'm gonna go over this again. So it measures only 2.84 millimeters in length. Let's see if I can show it. Lighten that up for you a little bit. And then 72.2 millimeters is the equivalent of the 2.84 inches, and then 21.1 millimeters in diameter. So it's really tiny. Look at this thing. It's so nice it'll fit on, and it's got 7 levels of light brightness on here. So let me see if I can pause. You can see that as I'm just going right through it, and then I can run it back down again. So the lowest one is at 1 lumen, and they say that thing will run for 192 hours at 1 lumen. I'm kind of skeptical about that too, just because of their claim of 1.5 hours at 1,650. But yeah, it also will go down to, I think, 2 or 3 meters in water. So yeah, it's fairly waterproof. I won't say waterproof, highly water resistant. It's got a tail switch on the back of it. And it's pretty easy to take apart. No big deal here. Very simple construction. There again, there is no USB-C plug-in, or you have to take the battery out to charge it separately, so you're going to need a separate charger to work with this thing. But again, it's very, very tiny. Okay, so the pattern on this thing. The light pattern on the chart is it's got about a 48-inch diameter. I'm going to say that so you can take a look at the chart, as you can see, and it's very good brightness in that center area within that 48-inch diameter. And then when we get to the thermal video, within 3 minutes, this thing was up to 136 degrees Fahrenheit or 58.3 degrees Celsius. So that makes this top section here very, very hot. It shows up as a bright red in the thermal video. I'm sure it was uncomfortable picking it up. I was grabbing it from the base just because I knew how hot it was going to be. I would treat it with a great deal of respect at those temperatures. I wouldn't let it run at that temperature for very long. It did throttle back after it hit those temperatures, so that feature is working, but it is definitely up in that space, you know, that's very intensely hot. I would be really careful about that. This is the highest temperature I've seen on any flashlight, frankly. So this is, yeah, pretty strong. Anyway, on to the next video. Okay, next up, we've got another larger flashlight, and again, we have it in the pouch. This one, just to kind of show you how easy it is to get these things in and out on the rack like this. So the rack is set up on the bottom, and it's very easy. I did not attach the elastics onto this one. This is the Boroite V15. They call it a EDC flashlight, and it's a very small, compact little flashlight. It measures 38 millimeters by 18 millimeters in thickness like that, and set by 74.5 millimeters in length. Nice little compact flashlight. It's made of ABS plastic primarily. It's the only one of the group here that is made out of ABS plastic. It has an adjusting head on it, so you can flick it either direction. Works pretty nicely. It's got two LED arrays, one on the head like this with 3, and then there's another 5 on the front like this. Each of them is controlled separately by these 2 little buttons on the side. There is a large clip on the back, which is pretty nice. You can remove the clip. It pops off completely if you want. You can use it on a cap if you want. Gives you a number of options. You can drop it into a pocket if you want. It's a square design. Again, it's got the lithium polymer battery inside. There is no replacing that. Once it's gone, the flashlight is gone. I don't think you can pop this thing open without having to cut it open. It's got a magnetic tail on it as well. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to go in 1, 2, and that's this switch on the side here controls the head, and you got one on. Press it once, and I'll just kind of scroll through very quickly. Okay, so it's got a number, and if you hold it down, it turns it off. Now, if you want to go directly to turbo, you press that button and just hold it down, and it'll fire up turbo, and that's 1200 lumens being put out. Then, if you want to go over to the 5 array here, you just click this 1, 2, and it'll start blinking. Excuse the flash, I'm sorry, I should have warned everybody. And then the next one, and then the next one. That's the white side light, which gives off a fairly decent amount of light. And then the next one, and a red light, and the next one, flasher, and the next one, red, blue, and then to kill it, you just hold it down and it stops it. And that's about it. The headlight does 1200 lumens output down to 12 lumens. So it gives you quite an array there to choose from. It's a nice, well-constructed little light. It's you know, I think it's fairly water resistant as well. I wouldn't say waterproof. Everything is sealed up nicely. It looks like it probably, let me see how the charging port on here. I saw it before. Oh, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Down in the base. And it looks like it's a USB-C. So there's a USB-C charging port in the base right there. Usually these rubber things will pop off. So be careful with that. And that's about it. So this did very well. I was really surprised at the beam that came off of this thing. So again, with our 10 foot at 10 feet from the target, this thing had a about a 48 inch output circle on the target, which was pretty decent. It dropped off pretty dramatically after that 48 inches of diameter, and I think these are fairly low-powered LEDs, but the three of them in together are gonna. They claim it puts out 1200. I don't think it's quite 1200. That's just from me doing this so many times, and I don't have a way to accurately determine lumens. I do lux, but not lumens, and so I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about that. But it may be, and I'm just kind of thrown off by all the other lights I've seen here. The other thing too is when I did the thermal, the next component of this is the thermal video. That was interesting. So the plastic, only the head on this thing was glowing, just the head part. So this is completely separate, as you can see, from the rest of it. But the heat never moved down into the plastic at all. So that's really interesting to me. Also considering that there's an aluminum housing on the inside for the battery. So it just never picked up any heat at the bottom of this. This is probably the most heat efficient that I saw. And it never got above, let me see here, what did I have? Here's the temperature. Oh, 36.7 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty low. That's down in the lower 100s, and it's just in the head as well. That's not going to hurt you. And that was after 6 minutes of exposure. So this thing was just not picking up the heat at all. This is it was really handling the heat very well, especially with this plastic outside. All right, you got another pocket rack flashlight, and there it is. This is the Wurkkos HD12. It fits perfectly on a vertical pattern on the back of a. This is the center anchor, larger version of the pocket rack, and it has the anchors in the middle so that the bands will run across this way, which is ideal for a flashlight of this size because this won't fit on this size. It'll hang off the sides. So, all right, let's pull this out. Oh, I want to show you something too. You can actually run these flashlights on the pack, so you don't necessarily have to take them off if you feel you want to do something really quick. You can also set it up so that it stands up on top of something, which is nice as an option. But it's easy to pull them out fairly, just pop them right out of the rack. And there you go. Pull this off. All right, so what this has is, that's unusual, the reason why it's included in this group of flashlights, because all of these flashlights have something unusual about them, is that it has multiple red light settings. So you can go 1, 2, 3. Let me get back down here real quick. 1, 2, 3, and we're in red light mode. So 3 clicks takes you to red light mode, and then you can go through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you want to go to a blinking mode, you can just go 1, 2. Well, that's the hard part here. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and there you go. So it's in the blinking mode. It's not one of those fast strobe modes. It's in a regular, normal blinking mode. It's nice setup that way. So it comes with a clip. You can put the clip on here, drop it on a backpack on your back, and you can walk down a trail or a road with no sidewalks on it and feel that the light is flashing red behind you and hopefully warning off any cars not to run you over, which is nice. Or you can stick it on your bicycle if you want in the back and just have it kind of ward off cars that way. If you want to get back to the regular mode, let me drop this back again. You just do the 1 click and it'll start you through that cycle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of the regular light of variations. And then if you go 1, 2, it takes it up to strobe. Not strobe, it takes you up to turbo, and that puts you in the 850 lumen mode. It'll stay that way for about a minute and then drop it down to 300 lumens, which is the high level on this particular flashlight. And it'll also give you, right now I'm in moonlight mode, which is about 2 lumens. So you can use a 14500 lithium ion battery in here, or a AA battery. So it gives you the option of having a AA if your lithium ion goes dead, you can go to AA. It's not going to give you the same output that the lithium ion will, but it works relatively nicely. The other thing here to keep in mind is this has about a 48-inch beam coming from it at 10 feet. So the chart that I've been showing in the previous videos, it's got a pretty decent amount of light at that distance. For a 10-foot to have a 48-inch nice spot on it is pretty good. This is ideally designed for, I guess, running at night, or walking at night and having something on your head. Maybe working on your car or something in the evening, so you can have that thing mounted on your head. It's a nice setup, and the red lights give you this kind of a stealth option too, if you want to not be people are I'm not quite sure why you'd use it for that purpose, but it's a nice feature to have, I guess. If you don't want to, let's say you're at a campsite or something like that, and you don't want the white light just shining all over the place, the red light mode might be your best bet. It's going to be less intrusive than the white light will be. So yeah, it's a nice option. It's a nice little flashlight. Nothing super fancy about it. It's very rugged. Wurkkos makes good lights. The headpiece is very comfortable. It's very lightweight. It's just a standard elastic that hooks up this way, and you rotate this around in how you like to go when it's mounted on your head. Pretty standard setup. Again, it's got the two white light emitters in the center here, and then the two reds going vertical, and 3 settings for each one. I'm sure there's other settings in here too. You can delve into those if you want. I'm just using the default settings that are here. It does have a magnetic tail on it, I believe. Let me check real quick. It does. And let me see what else here. USB-C on the back here. Comes with a charging cable. And let's see which... I don't remember which... Yeah, it comes with a 900 milliamp hour 14500, which is nice, and you can get up over 1,000 pretty easily if you want to go get a little more juice out of your battery. But overall, very nice piece. The thermal video goes, this put out, I think it maxed out at about 101.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 38.7 degrees Celsius, which isn't bad at all. There's really no major heat on this thing. The head is set up. Everything is like very well constructed. I think it's a nice little flashlight if you're interested in something that you can mount on your head, frankly. You could probably also use the clip and just hook this up to the bottom of your baseball cap if you wanted to as well. Might be an easier way to do it. But yeah, overall, nice light. All right, so next up, we've got the WK03 from Wurkkos. Whoa! And I'm just showing it here. I didn't tie it in this time, so you can see that it sits perfectly on the top of this shotgun shell pouch. So it's not strapped in. So it just gives you easy access to pull it right out if you want to, or you can strap it in. I've got the straps right here on the top. It's your option how you want to do it, but I just wanted to show that it's very easy to access these. So the reason I like this one so much is because of the size of it. It's a very small. It's just over 4 inches long in length. So it's got the option too of, if you want a magnetic tail, they give you a separate unit, so you can just screw on a magnetic tail if you want, or you can use the non-magnetic tail, which is what I have on here. This uses the 18650 battery on the inside, so it's 3,000 milliamp hours. It also has a USB-C charging port built onto it, so you don't have to charge the battery separately. You can just plug this thing in and you're off and running. It does claim to have an 1800 lumen output, and that's what that looks like, which is pretty intense. And it does have also let's see if I get this going here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, has 3 different steps as far as the output comes on this. Plus 1, 2, 3. Got a strobe mode. Excuse the flash. Sorry about that. Nice little flashlight. The other thing I like about it too is that the grip here is not overly aggressive, so it'll tear your pants to pieces, but it holds it very nicely. It's a single bulb output on the inside. I'm not really seeing a lens. There is a reflector in place that seems to be doing most of the heavy lifting as far as the brightness. There is an indicator here that stays on for 5 seconds after you've turned it on to let you know the level of battery, and then it shuts down. It looks very much like HAL from 2001, but that's kind of cool actually. And also has a nice clip with it. The clip is not reversible on this one, but it is a nice heavy-duty clip, very heavy-duty clip. So that's nice. Lanyard hole in the back. And other than that, it's a fairly normal flashlight. It's got so much packed into a very small package. Coming up is the more intense thermal camera. We'll do a video and you get to see the heat migrating off the top and all the way down. Now I think with this one, it was really unique in that it didn't keep it trapped up in this upper region here. It actually migrated all the way down the shaft, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't hit any really super high temperatures. I think it got up to 38.5, and that was after 10 minutes. That was the maximum I got, and then the temperature started dropping down after that. It took 10 minutes to get up to 38.5, and that's totally manageable. It's that's 38.5 degrees centigrade, Celsius, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's a nice rugged little aluminum housing on it. Nice little flashlight. Yeah, so on the chart, the beam at 10 feet was putting out a circle of about 40 inches in diameter, so just under 4 feet. So for an 1800 lumen, I would expect it to actually be a little bit tighter than that. The size is really what gets me here. It's just a nice, perfectly sized for the way this rack is set up. So I can just drop right in here, close it up, and you're off and running. You can just stick this on your belt if you want to, throw it in the backpack, whatever you want to do with it. It's a nice little package. Nice little flashlight. Wurkkos makes it. Everything is down in the description below if you want to take a look at where to source this stuff from and pricing on everything. If you want information on the pocket racks themselves, that's also available here. You can go to droptoearthling.com as well. Here's the link right here. And there's a whole bunch of information there about pocket racks and all the other flashlight stuff. There'll be a spreadsheet showing flashlights. There's got to be a couple dozen flashlights in there at this point. I've been doing over the past couple of years with temperature breakdowns. What I'm getting were lux readouts on all of these, including these. So you're going to see these that I just did, as well as past reviews. You can do comparisons on there. There's a ton of information there on flashlights. If you have any questions, you can ping me. If you have any flashlights you think I should be reviewing, let me know. I'd be very curious to find them. Again, this was kind of an interesting selection. I really enjoyed going through and setting this thing up, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know what you think about the thermal camera as well. I thought it found some things for me that I was really surprised about. This little tiny Wurkkos, the T10, I think it was, T10, yeah. This surprised me with how much heat this thing was putting out, how much light this thing put out. I seriously think that this Wurkkos is brighter than this big one. But that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how that's happening. There is a lens on here. It could be just the intensity of the lens just focusing everything down. But yeah, this was quite surprising how much output that this thing did. Yeah. So I wouldn't have seen that without that little thermal camera. I'm trying to think of other applications for the thermal camera as well. I'm also going to have the thermal camera featured in a separate video as to whether or not it could be used as an EDC tool of some sort. I'm finding all different kinds of applications, looking through my backyard and seeing all kinds of things running around that I did not know were there before at night, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by today. It's been fun. I really enjoyed going through all this stuff. Hope to see you again. Take care.